Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, High Chief.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. I want to welcome you to another edition of the class that we've had so far. Um, Diana, would you shut up your mouth? You want me to take inside the room, right? I want people to sit down here. Does not mean that people don't try people go inside your room. You know. Okay. But before I move ahead, Presido, how many persons have uploaded their project because you want to start approving projects? And when we start approving project, you know what it is. How many have uploaded? So immediately your project is approved, you are getting your certificate immediately. Do you have access to that admin?
Good evening, Hi Chief. Not yet.
Okay, please reach out to what's the name? Um, team lead for backend, because they're the one that developed that project. Reach out to him to get you also them to get you the admin login so that we can start approving projects by this week. And there'll be reminder about when project defense is Monday, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So inform everybody to get ready. How many projects are you presenting?
Three.
How many projects?
Sorry, sir. Three.
Okay. Okay. So to inform everybody to get ready for that project presentation on Monday. All right. We'll continue on a new topic. Like I told you, every day we are going to building project. And if you have been following up with the class, you'll notice that um, we've started with smaller projects and it gets more advanced, keep getting more advanced every day. So I want to encourage everybody who is attending classes should ensure that you are not just here, but you follow up bit by bit with what we are doing here. If you are slappy or able to go inside, move everybody. Correct. So um, if you are following it bit by bit, um, you get uh, you get you get used to it bit by bit, bit by bit. You need to start with the syntax, understanding every line of code you are creating. Very essential. For the first time, it may not be too clear for you, but the more you dive into it, the more you spend time doing it, the more you become clearer. One of the number one rule in backend is that don't do what you don't understand. Don't use functions or objects or class or list you don't even understand how it works. It is very important that you understand every line of code. You understand every line of code before you start uh, coding. Make sure you understand it. You let it be a baby, because when it's a baby, you need to understand everything, everything entirely. That's number one. Then the second rule is that leverage on Google AI. Now we have AI. When we learn, there's nothing like AI or Google. It takes like 1 month to do in order to know resolve a particular bug. Think. So you need to think outside the box, how to solve problem. That's why we are here. So Let me share my screen so that we can. So I'll do a review, but at the end of the class, we are going to build one application, password generation, uh, password generation app, where most of you have noticed where you try to create some account in a particular application, there's the option for you to generate random password. Almost all of us have experienced that before, and the reason of doing this is to ensure that your password is not compromised. To have this strong password, and sometimes uh, even myself, I used apparently all my same person, all my social media, both my email, Facebook, But at the point when I noticed my emails have been compromised, then I stopped uh, using one password. So my passwords are different. What I use on Facebook, not I use on Google. So so we're going to be learning the logic behind generating, how we can get bring different uh, objects together, and then whenever a user run a command, then we generate a random sequence of characters. So see how we can achieve that. If you recall, the last class we learn about models, right? So we have the Python inbuilt models, and also we learn how we can create our own models, how we can create our own models and then use our own models as well. We learn models like random, which we also going to be diving into, but this is going to be a bit advanced. Today we'll be learning very new entire function, inbuilt function like loop, for loop, and why are we using for loop? Why is it necessary to use for loop? It's very important. So we're going to be learning how we can leverage on for loop and how the for loop work behind the scene. The main thing is to understand how it works behind the scene, so that it will not look like a magic for you. You need to understand how it works behind the scene for you to know how it operates. So so let me go to my replet. um, Madam, can you close the door? Close the door for me. Are you going to close it? If you close that back door. Yeah. Okay. Um, go back to my. So look for my replet. This is showing 7 hours. I've not opened this thing for like days now. I don't hack me. Mm, I've not opened this thing for. Okay, let me confirm if this is. This should be day 5, right? Mm, mm. So the last class was day 4. Let's see what we've done in day 4. All right. So day 4, like I explained earlier, what we did was to learn about imports, right? How the import work, models, right? We also have imports, individual imports, and import from the same different directory. So I think on the models here, what we did on this mall, which we created, I told you in every modules, um, there should be an init file. So in this init file, uh, the Python will treat the uh, uh, um, the Python
Folder.
they'll treat this folder here as a model. So compared to this folder will not be treated as a model, but whenever it's having this in it means that it is a model. You can import it and use it as a package. So we created a file called calculation. So this is a module that carry out different types of calculation. So in this we have add sum. So this modules will add the total sum of numbers and then return the result. So we have parameters here. I further explained that parameters are like a placeholder, right? For either a number or sequence of character. So when you're creating a function, you pass in parameters. Now, parameters are optional in a function. Doesn't mean that it is required whenever you're creating a function. It all depends on what you want to achieve with that function, right? So under uh, beneath here, we have return plus one. So this return, we are assuming that whatever the user is providing, let's say when we are calling that function or when we're initializing that function, we call it can be 5 plus 2. So this 5 plus 2, assuming that here sum is equals to 5, sum 2 is equals to 2. So this is how we be able to create a function. Then we also create a division sum, divide sum, which we would check if a particular sum, which is the sum you are dividing, is it the divisor or the divider? How did I call it? If the divisor is equals to 0, right? If it is equal to 0, then you need to return an error. So we use the return like a print statement where you want to print out uh, an object on the terminal. So use the return to return back that object. So if you notice what I did there, I used print first and later on I now use what return, right? Return that returns that number, right? So we say if this sum is equals to 0, that means if the sum, whatever we're dividing, just like we're dividing 0 divided by 10, which is not going to work, right? You can't divide 0. So what we did was to use if 0 is equals to, if the sum 2, which is the sum that you're dividing, right, is equal, you can see 20 divided by 0. Right, yeah, I think that is the right sentence. So 20 divided by 0, which don't go to work. 20 can't divide 0, right? So we said if the 20 if the whatever you are dividing is equals to 0, that means we should have an exception. So we call this exception, not error. Don't call it error. So exception, right? We're going to be diving into exception when we will learn about try and exception. Why do you try and why is it necessary to try an exception? So this is like an exception. So so then we went further to learn about subtracting some form, right? Where you can subtract from. So we did a little bit advanced to advance the code instead of using maybe using a static number where we can type in the number or put in the number directly from when we are calling the function. So what we did was to go a bit dynamically. So to add the dynamic um, dynamic, we're using an input. Oh my god. It's water. Trump, please get me water here. Thank you. Trump, oh, get me water. All right. So so what we did here is to collect the sum and then you ask the user to input the sum total and right now we are not calling this function here, right? We are not initializing the function. What we are doing here on this package, we are creating the function. So see the package like the way you have um you have your models, right? So the way you import your models, so those models you are using, like random math model, it has been created in a function like this one, but you are not seeing the file, right? You are not the one that created it. They already created that function. So every function or every models we are using in Python have been created already by another programmer. So in order to easy the workflow for you, right? So that does not mean that you cannot create a square root. You can create a square root from a start, but it requires a lot of codes, right? So I want you to see the concept like the way you have your inbuilt Python function. So this is the way we have our own function. So whenever you call that function, it passing the word, the parameter. So we went ahead to do what? Import. So if you notice that we use two types of import here. So the first one we did is to from all modes dot calc import all, right? So now this import all now, what's actually happening here is that when you come to this folder, so we have this folder, we have almost, right? So we call the folder then dots. So what are we calling under that dot? We are calling the word the files, right? Then import. So this tab means to import what? All, everything inside these modules, right? That's how it works. That's how you import other functions. So to import all, right? So what we did was to apparently import all the functions inside that module. Now, I want you to notice that function now um, models, the functions, the models can have all different kind of code. It can either be classes. We're not talking about classes, objects, what's it called? Dictionaries, tuples, list. It's not just a static or a specific thing that you need in the model. So there are a lot you can do with the model. Just see a model like a script, right? So whenever I want to use that script, let a script that calculate return of investment daily, right? Then whenever you call that script, it calculates the return of investment of that package. Now, a script that deletes a particular user that defaulted, or a script that function. Now, let's just look at Facebook, for instance. So if Facebook have policies, right? Policies that have created, and in that policies, not the what's it called it? It's not the words written that is executing that policy, right? Just like the way you have government. So in government, when they create a policy and you violate that policy, they're not going to write the script, right? They're not going to write the script that can stop you, maybe that can either penalize you for that violation, right? So what we are going to do is that either to sue you to court or to arrest you and persecute you, right? Now, Facebook don't see you physically, right? They don't know where you are. They don't know who you are, right? So whenever you violate that policy, what they're going to do is that they will write a script that is in line with that policy. That means whatever is written, they can write it in a code. Are we communicating? Are we communicating? Now they hear me.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we are. We
Come,
are.
no, I respect on ourselves this night. Now I talk. When I move to myself,
We dey talk. All
the
right,
guy,
sir.
the
Yes,
guy,
sir.
the
Yes,
guy,
sir.
the guy, and he eats him. When I move to myself, they respond to me. So
All right, sir.
Yes, sir.
now it means that whatever is written in a document, right, can be executed as a code. That is it. That is it, right? So as a software engineer, the ability is to look at what somebody have written. I say, okay, this is the thing I written now. Eh? Let me see how I can turn it to a code. It can either be a game, it can either be a policy, right? Okay, now we are currently working on um, OTS platform, a new OTS platform, which me and the back end team are currently working on it. And the way we are doing it is very, very advanced. In fact, when we are done, this other one will remove it entirely. That's why we're not started second edition. We'll remove it entirely. This one is built upon a synchronized process. So there are a lot of policies that will be integrated there. So a simple violation, this one, I don't need to come and be chasing you up and down, pay 2 naira or you remove your code. So no, this one will delete you. If I come to your WhatsApp group and remove you as well. It's shocking now. All right, so that is it. Somebody will say, how is it possible? Don't worry, when the time comes. uh, you see that nothing it can apparently achieve everything with technology. Just the ability for you to think deep, and it's definitely, if somebody have done it before, or even if somebody have not done it before, you can as well be the first person to do it, because what we are here to do is to create history. Okay. So what we also did in the main is to import the function. Then what we did is to print, right? So we print the calling by calling it what the sum, then passing it 10 and 20. So this 10 and 20, let's assume the 10 and 20 replaces the sum 1 and sum 2, right? I think we've said this severally. So before we move into the agenda of the day, anybody have any question regarding the last class? Maybe it's something you don't understand, you want me to briefly chip into before move ahead to the next class. Anybody? Okay. You can see I have access to my code, so they can as well go through it. All right. So please take your assignment very serious. Go meeting very serious. Because this time around, they dissolve code anyhow. Uh, not. All right. So what we'll be doing today, like I told you, we are going to be building a random password generation. All right. Mm, random password generation, which we are going to be building. So for that, we're going to be looking at um, for loop, right? What is for loop? Who can tell us what is for loop and why do we need for loop? Mhm.
Should I go ahead?
Yeah, fire them.
Yeah. For loop is used to iterate through our list tuple or set
Hmm.
to go through the elements one after the other. So we can do whatever things we want with each of the elements in the set or list or tuple according to our code. That is what for loop is meant for and what we use
Why
it
do we
for.
use it? Why do we give us a reward?
One, we use it um to iterate, like I said, to go through the list so that we can have each of the elements in a list or group of elements in a particular variable. We can go through each one after the other, then use whatever the content for whatever reasons we need them for. That is the explanation.
Okay. Okay, next person. Yeah, yeah. Fire them.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Mm.
Um, for loop can be used to you said an example can be used to list the element inside the tuple inside one by anyhow you want it. You can make use of the element inside the tuple to do anything you want to do with it. You can list it or you can add things to it individually when you look through it, you can add things to it and you can use it to perform even calculations when you look through it.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you very much. I believe in doing real world example, and I always like do real world example. So let's go to Jumia, right? Okay. Now in Jumia, uh, what for loop is, we're going to be looking at it in a world, uh, real world example that will give us a clearer view of what we need. Um, let's say So a for loop allow us to execute a block of code repeatedly for a particular numbers of time. Now, when I mean a block of code, that does not mean numbers, right? Now, or that does not mean it's only just numbers of things. Now, when you come here, you see that we have a lot of things in the database, right? Right? A lot of things in the database. So everything coming here, both the price, is actually coming from the database. Now, when I go to a particular category of this product, let me look for a category to go. So this home beauty, then click on it. Now, when I click on it, you notice that we have all the products that are related to this category, health and what and beauty. Now, this health and beauty is like a list. So a list that have all this particular element. A list that have all these particular words element in the database. Then what for loop is doing is that to go into this health and beauty list. Remember, list is a container that houses multiple objects. It can either be a picture, can either be a string, can either be uh, amount, integer, float, anything you can think of, right? So let's say here we have health. Hmm? You have health, right? Now health and beauty. So in this health and beauty, if we want to assign a list of products that is attached to health and beauty, so what we're going to do is to call the word the list, right? You're not going to call it normally. It's list. That's what we use, right? We
Yeah.
have list. Now this list would contain all the products related to this health and beauty. Now, if you come here, we are not going to display just one product, right? Now, if you want to display the whole product on this page, how are we going to achieve this? So when you come here now, we have in health and beauty, we have this product, we have different kind of product. So if we want to display all these products that inside this health and beauty, all of them from A to Z, how do we do that? Can somebody tell me how we do that? Because I like using real world example. Very, very important. So we can understand why we are using loop. Okay. Who can tell us?
We have to filter according to the category.
We have to do what?
Filter according to the category.
What is filter?
We have a lot of items in the list,
Mm,
even those that is not even beauty items.
mm,
Then every item has is a like keys and value. Let assume out of the object now we have a keys of categories and the value is beauty. Then we have to iterate through it and check through the list of those items that has the categories of beauty. So once we pick them, those are the one that will be displayed according to the code we write.
eh, a bit advanced witness.
Okay, sir. Using the for loop, we can say for for all the items we have in our array, we check the category. If the category is equal to
the category of skincare, for example. So if the category is equal to category of skincare, then we can now put the item inside a different array. Then after that, we now have our array of, I mean, sorry, our list of of skincare items. Then we can display it. We can print all of them.
That means for beauty in, then the variable of the list. Let's say for beauty in our array.
Okay. Okay. Who next can start? Next. Hmm?
No one else is raising.
Okay, we are going to do something here. I'd like us to go real world example. Um, I want to I want to do something. I don't know how I can copy all these names. Say okay, okay, right, good and fine. So now, what we are going to do now, we want to use a real world example, right? If we want to store the the name and the amount, probably the amount and the category, how do we store this in Python? What are we going to? Are we going to use list or whatnot? Hmm? Getting is an interactive. Okay, who is next?
Now, what
Go.
is the
Can use dictionary.
Okay, but it's a list. They're talking about list here, not dictionary. So if you use dictionary, that means you can't store things in dictionary. You have to be in a list. You can store, but you have to be in a list.
Yeah, you can use dictionary in lists. That's a list of dictionaries or a list of objects.
Okay, a list of dictionary. Okay, so all right. So what I think he made a very valid point, right? Let's say I have a skincare product because what we are looking at that is loop, right? Loop, right? So here I have a list. So a list of let's say this is our database that contain skincare right product. So inside the list, um, I'm going to have, let's say, I want to make it very specific, right? So let's say here I have a dictionary. So inside this dictionary, um, I'm going to, they're already giving me uh, what I should do, right? So, but I don't need that. Okay. So now, they have generated for us, which I don't think is really necessary, right? So I don't think it's really necessary. So let me remove all this, but let me create my own. No worry. Let me create my own. So what we are going to do here, I'm going to use some a very affordable list. So yeah, I can say name. Hmm? So the name of the item. Remember, this is a dictionary, right? Um,
Yes.
so the name of the item, I'll say name. I don't need all these things. I don't need all these things when I do. When I respect on myself, allow me to type. So the name of the item that I'm going to use here. Give us item. Okay, let's have this item. The name shampoo, right? Shampoo. All right. So then the next one is the price, right? Please, if you respond now.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
I can say the price like 5K.
150.
So 500. Then the
Category.
description, right? Description.
Yeah, description. That indentation.
Description is good. Then so what we're going to do next is
So is the price supposed to be a string?
not really, but it can be a string, so you can leave it as an integer. You can convert to a string, so doesn't matter. You can convert it to an integer if you want later. So you know how to do that. So let's say we have the category. Is that all we have here? The price, okay. The category. I think the category will be the last. So here we have category. So inside this category we have beauty, right?
Yes, sir.
We have
Beauty.
we have beauty. So we have
Sir,
one.
the indentation on line 6, that description.
You don't need indentation. You only need indentation when you are working directly on a variable. Like let's say here now, I can now come here and type something. We are inside the loop, so these are indentation issue.
Okay.
Uh,
All right,
Let's say
sir.
I'm inside um a variable. If you're inside the variable, don't need
Okay.
indentation. Uh,
All
so
right.
the next
Got
thing we're
that.
going to do here is let copy and paste the next list. We can uh have like so the next one we are going to have here is conditional, right? I know my
So
wife using
a comma to separate the
yeah,
dictionary.
yes, my wife using condition well. Conditional. So if you don't know conditional, that means you need to go and get a side chick or a girlfriend. Conditional. So the price here is 100 naira, 1,000. So this the description. I'm going to use. I'm going to use. This is conditional. Mm, conditional. Conditional. So the category will be beauty. So I'm going to copy again, and then so next one I'm going to have here is they have something like face cream, right?
Lotion.
Face cream or lotion, any of it can go. Face cream. These are for women, not for men. I don't know the right time I use cream. This is face cream. So then the category is beauty, right? We can have so this is what we have, and this is what we have about the loop, right?
So a
So
comma to separate the
yeah,
dictionary.
yeah. So now, if you look at all this, these are called what dictionary, right? And somebody will say, how do you know that it's dictionary? Yeah, because dictionary have keys and what, pairs and what and value,
Value.
right? Now,
Value.
so we've served all this in key pairs and values and key pairs and values. So now when they come here, although in database this is also stored as. key pairs and values in the database. So we are creating database. You have key pairs and what and values, right?
But
So yeah, so which is the name and the input, right? The name and the input. You can have done database now. So when you are creating the database, the instances of that database, which you are going to start the presentation very soon. So how we bring all these things here with the images. We are not going to have images because there's no way to view that image here. We can only see sorry, we can only view the link, which is what I don't want to do. So here I can come here and it's okay. Let me check the type of this a type of this build, right? So you can come here and print, right? Print uh, beauty type, so of the beauty pattern. Why not getting
health and
health
health
and
and
beauty?
beauty, sir.
It's always it's health, not beauty. Health, right?
Health underscore beauty.
Health underscore beauty. All right. So this is what we have here. I'll just close this so that I can have more space to work. Then run this here, and you can see the type is what is a list. That means we are having this in a list. Now, if we want to access this, um, to access all the names, right? All the names, uh, in to get all the names available. So what we are going to do is to see how we can loop through this and get the names, get the price. So the front end is what uh, uh, then I will say, okay, get the names. Then after getting the names, I get the what the price, right? Which is very very important. So get the name, the price, and category. So before that, let me show you how to get the names. So we are going to use what we call for loop, right? Now, before I move ahead, let me explain what for loop does again. Let's say I have a list. Let me say I have a list of people, right? Cohorts. Let's say cohort list. Before I move into that, I have to start from the basic cohort word list. So in this cohort list, I'm going to have different kind list of cohort from code 1 to code whatnot, right? So we're going to get the code and say, okay, how do we loop into it? So we're going to learn how the loop works, right? How it works, and then that will also help us to be able to see how we can work directly on this uh, other platform. So this is what we are going to do on that cohort list. Now I told that list the way the way first statement works it works in a way that so when that cohort list, then we have like cohort 11, then okay, so let's all have this randomly. So these have been generated, right? So now if we want to loop into this, right, and so they can get all individual cohort, right? If you want to get this, what you need to do is come here and say for, right? Now when you call the word for, now please, who is that? Yeah, Mike is disturbing. Now when you call for, you call an empty variable.
The guy, please mute your mic.
Okay. You call an empty variable, right? So this empty
I
variable,
was asked to leave it opened.
yeah, you call an empty variable. So this empty variable can be any kind of variable at all, right? Just say I say the guy, hmm, for the guy. So now what's going to happen here is that this the guy, hmm, is an empty variable. It does not exist. That means I want to call for the guy. Then whenever I run this code, I come inside here. Then whenever I run this code, code one, when cohort run, it will be stored in the guy. When code two run, it will store in the guy. So remember how how a variable works, right? So the first one, the latest one override the old one, right? Are we communicating? Okay, let me
Yes,
show you
sir.
what I mean. Let me show what I mean. If I come here and type and create a variable name equals to Olisa, then what is that? There's a problem here. Okay, now inside here I print names, right? So when I print name, I come here to run it. You can see I have name. Now if I come here again and type names equals to skyline, then I come here again and print name. Other or like JavaScript not is not that way. Don't think it's like that. Then when I click on run, you can see the name change to skyline. So the latest one overrides the old
Good one.
one. So that is the principle. I want you to understand. If you understand that principle, it will help you understand for loop, right? Good and fine. So now, what we are going to do here for the guy. Now, this is the guy, right? So this guy is an empty variable, just an empty variable. Then we say in. So when body say in means that the guy is inside here, right? Right? So the guy in inside this cohort. Then you want the guy to come inside this cohort. Any question? Hmm? Okay. So you want the design to come inside this cohort. So you can call the cohort list. Cohort what? Cohort
List.
underscore list. Now, for the guy in the cohort list, what it means is that whenever I run this code, the latest one will be stored in this variable. So it starts from this. So when you run in the first, this variable will come in here. It will come inside this list and store the variable code 11. If you run it again, it will store the variable code 12. It will go that way until it gets to the last one. Now, so here you need to put and then enter. This must be indentation. You must index this. Without indexing this, you are going to have what? An issue. So the next one you print again. If you move this in this way, this will not work, right? So it is that you enter backward indentation. So what we did there was for the guy in what cohort list. So what is really going on behind this thing here is that whenever you run this code, whenever you run this code, this will be stored in the guy at the latest one. So immediately you store it, it will override this at latest one. So I can say, here what I have here is, let's print this and see what's going to happen. Now you notice that we are having all the cohort filtered. Now when you call this the guy, like I told you, when you call the guy first, it will call this one. This the guy variable will store cohort 11. As you are aware, the policies and the pattern of variables, right? So the first come, the later one overwrite other one. So if you run it again, this man again will come here. It will overwrite the previous one and it will call cohort 2. So this the guy in means that this guy need to visit this man all the code one by one, and give reports. So after visiting the cohort, it gives report. So this happened within a second. So this is a process where this man here have to go here, go here, go here, go here, go here. There's no way that he needs to start from there. No. It's starting from what? From the left hand side. Are you communicating? He visits from the what? From the left hand side. The guy visit cohort from the left hand side, now goes to another one. So when you visit, you give the report, 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 till when the guy is done visiting. So look at this and ask your question about the loop. If you don't have any question, you can move ahead. Question time. We all understand? Huh? Do you all understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I
sir.
understand.
Okay, good. If you don't understand, ask question. Oh, very important. So that's how we can look in. So this same way, how they were able to get all the list of these products. But for this one, it's just a list, right? So now what we are going to be doing now is to look at this beauty and see how we are going to look into this beauty, right? Then to get access to to uh, to the prices and whatnot, right? So what we are going to do here is that, remember, like I told you, we look at the keys, right? The keys. So we are going to look same thing we did here. So the same thing we did in the guide. We are going to comment on this, just this alone. Let's comment on all this and then come down here. So we say for remember, whatever I'm calling it an empty variable, for beauty underscore product, in what, in beauty, like this, my AI is not working again. Autocomplete is not working. Why is it not working?
Earth and beauty. Earth underscore beauty.
Mm,
In earth and underscore beauty.
my okay, health underscore, my this is not working again. I don't know why. Health, okay, I'm calling the wrong one. Hmm? I got on verse. It's called beauty. So right, then so what I'm going to do is that for health underscore beauty, um we're going to print, we are going to we're going to print what, the beauty, right? The beauty product. So the product we are printing name. That means is that in this health beauty, so what happened here is that this, for beauty, we all know that is an empty variable in what, in health underscore beauty. So we call this for beauty, then we pass in the name. So this name is pair. So what is going to happen is that every name here will be what, printed out. Are we communicating? So every name here, we are getting all the names. We also get the price as well, right? We are getting all the names. Yeah, we are getting all the names. So when you run this, you notice that we have all the names in our B2. So the same way we have all the product in B2 product in Jumia. Are we communicating? Are we communicating?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's fantastic. Now the next thing we are going to do again is to get the prices, right? We get all the prices. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get let's say I'll just say names, right? Passing names here. So what I'm going to do, instead of putting this thing in there, I'm going to use what we call uh I'm going to use what we call we've done about F format, right? Hmm? F format. Who can tell us how to write F format? Hmm? Print. Who can tell us how to write F format?
F.
Good. Call
F
the
then
F, then call your string here.
F.
apostrophe.
Then in quotes.
Good. Everything will be inside this word, this F. So I can say, yeah, I will say uh, products, right? Good. So put products. I don't want to put price. Uh-huh. So so products, right? So we know how to write this, right? Let me
Now
do.
close your quote.
So for those that are coming in, so when I write product, for me to have this have to be here also. For me to have add a variable inside here, right? Inside this product, what I need to do is very simple. I will call it what, bracket. In JavaScript, you put what? You put dollar sign, right? Dollar up. So in here you put the curly bracket. So this curly bracket will give you a provision to be able to have another variable. So we'll call the variable of what? Of beauty underscore product, right? Okay, good. Then we pass in the list to get the name, right? Good. Products. And then what we are going to do, we clean up this and then we run that. You can see we have the list of what, of product, right? So the same thing we can also do with uh with the we can also do with the prices. So the same thing we can also do with the prices. The same thing we can do with the prices and the category, and then we can use it to use it to do whatever uh, we want to do with it, right? So let's get all right. So let's quickly get so what we are going to get here again is we're going to get the price, right? The print to print the same pattern, right? Price, and then let hit that. You can see we have the word. So each of the man have their own word price, right? This one shampoo is how much, uh this one is how much, and this one is what is how much. So the last one we are going to get is the description and what and the category. So let's tap that. We know how to get all this. So let's print that out. So you can see that. So this is how you are going to get it. Then you use it. You can then the front end will now. I get it. The front end will now design how it will appear. The back end doesn't give you beauty. It's the front end that gives you what beauty, right? So the front end will now design it the way they want. So you want it to write the code that will get those list of product. So this is what we have, each of the product and their category. So that's how loop works. So very, I like to using real world example so that everybody would understand how it works. And I believe that if you are in this class and you're listening to my voice, if you don't understand how this works, you don't understand any of this code, I'll call you. I have to call you individually to come and explain. Okay, before I do that, before we start building project, but I'm not too feeling strong, I will have to end the class very fast. So before I do that, I would like us to learn more things such as uh, and another thing which I also want us to know to learn first. Let me see if most of us have this now. Okay, here is a list of what we have. Um, in this list, let's say I want to add another another list on this list. What am I going to do? Who can help me? We have 1 second. One, two, three, four, five. Nobody can help me. Eh? Nobody can help me. Don't go and Google. Who can help me how to
You
add
want to add an item or a list?
item in the list? An item in the list. So how do you do it?
Append.
No,
You can use append.
you use what append, right? So append is what we can use to add item. Let's say I want to add item in this list. I can have an empty list, right? Okay. You know what I'm going to do? Let me have an empty list. Let me have an empty list. So let me have an empty list. Let's say cohort projects. So in this code project, I have an empty list. Now this empty list, right? Um, I can decide to call the cohort project underscore uh projects dot what dot append. Why is this guy not giving me autocomplete? Hmm? Why is not giving me autocomplete, man? Okay.
You know that listening to the ones when they do before now.
AI don't vex.
So if we want to add this here, right? We want to add this here. So these are empty list. So we can then print, let's print the cohort, cohort,
So, so do you want to add everything as an item, or you want to extend it? If you
I
want
want
to
to,
add the list,
I
you
want
have to
to
use
append,
extend.
not extend. There's nothing is here, it's empty. Hmm?
Okay.
It's empty. So, um, right. So this is code project.
Sir, sir, I thought you are going to print cohort list since you appended another cohort list.
No, I didn't get.
As you appended a call list, I thought you are going to print it,
No, no, I
or you
didn't.
are going
No,
to.
no. The one you are appending is this code project. You are appending, then you are adding code list. So you don't need to print code list. It's the code
Okay,
project you are going
okay,
to print.
okay, okay,
So
okay, okay, okay. Thank you,
that
sir.
is it. It is what it is. So let me print that out. You can see that though is a list under a list. That's why it's showing all this, right? You can look
Yeah.
into it and get whatever you want.
So
You can,
that's why I wanted you to use extend. If
yeah,
you use append, it's
you
going
can
to
use
add it.
for. It doesn't matter. You can use for uh listing. Damn.
For in cohort list.
For L in this, right?
Co project.
In code project, then they can easily print what L.
Cohort list.
Mm. Eh? Print
It's going
what?
to print everything. It's going to print
L
everything.
L L. Sorry, L.
Mm. Okay, so let's run that. You can see that this is going to print you everything, but not really well organized. But however, so if you want to append, another way to append is that I can decide to append something here. So let me do this again. I can decide to append something here. Uh, uh, cohort 20. So then when I come here, give it a print, and then see what's going to happen. So we are going to have code 20 added what on the list. So whenever I use append, know that this is what it does. So another thing was also going to be looking at is what we call range, right? Okay, now how do we let's say uh, how do we calculate let's say somebody want to calculate a number from let's say a range of number, well, like I want to print out a range of number from 1 to 100, right? How do you do that to get a number from 1 to 100? Now let's say okay, I say okay, work on a project that will print a number from 100 to 1000. Are you going to be creating 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 to 1000? So who can tell us how we intend to do that using for loop? Because we're talking about for loop, right? So as I tell you, loop also loop into a particular certain numbers of code until when the this thing, what's they call it, it's required. So who can give us a hint on how to go about that? Hmm?
We can use while loop, sir.
Nope,
We
it's
can
wrong.
use while loop.
Wrong.
We can use for I in range. We give the
Yeah,
start
man.
and the end. Print I.
Okay. Good. For I range. What is range? What is range? Can you tell us what is range?
Range is um range is a method that takes two variables, the start number and the end number. So if you're using it in for, you are going from the start to the end, or the end exclusive.
Okay. Um, it's not a method, but it's a function. Hmm? Let me correct you on that. It's a function. It's not on any. When we talk about method, right? So this is a method. Append is a method because it's under a function or a class. Are you communicating? So you know the difference between method and a function, right?
Yes, sir.
So append is a method from list function. So list is a function. Are you getting me? This list is what is a function. So append here is a method. So a method is a function inside the word, a function. Are we communicating?
Yes, sir.
Function inside the function. So if you are doing like random dot range, it become a method. Like random dot rendered is a method, right? Uh-huh.
Yes, sir.
So random dot mass dot square is a method, but the mass itself is a function. Are you communicating? So
Sure, sir. Thank you,
all
sir.
right, all right. Now you tried. Now a Python range is a function which generates a sequence of characters or numbers, right? So let's say it takes three arguments, right? Like you say, it's not two. It takes what? Three arguments. So the first argument. So if you want to work on that, so what happened here is that the range, yeah. So the range function, uh, so the range function has three arguments, right? So we have what we call the start. Now, if you call the range, right, the start. So the starts uh um is the number you are going to start. So just like you are counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Now, in this 10 now to whatever 30. So you remember we are starting from what? From 10, right? So now, if we are counting this, it's going to be 1, 2, 3 to what? To a start. So a start means that when the number is starting and then stop. So the stop simple means that the ending. So our stop is where? 36, right? 36, right?
Yes, sir.
No, okay, good. Let's try that out. Let's try that out. We say print. Um, so can that work? But I'm not sure it's going to work, but let's try that. So without using uh using it inside the inside of a loop, it uses it in loop, right? It uses in loop, but why is it converting to this? So let's have range of, say, start is what, 1, and then the end is 35. So let's see what's going to happen if that will work or not.
36.
Mm. So this will not work, right? This definitely will not work because we need to run it inside a loop, right? So remember, I said it's range. So we need to run it inside what? A loop. Even if you call the normal range, it only print the word exactly the way it's listed. So that's why we need a loop. I will not just say for loop in this. You don't even know why we are doing it. Now you know why we are doing this, for us to be able to count from 1 to what? To 35. Are we communicating? Are we communicating?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Good.
sir.
Good to
Yes,
know.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So for us to be able to count from 1 to what? To so for us to have from 1 to 35. So let's see how we can achieve that. So here, comment on this. Here what I'm going to do is that we say for uh numbers in what range, right? So inside this range we are passing the step, then starting from 1 and end to 35, right? So inside this, and then we'll run this. Oh, sorry, we need to print it. So we print what? We print numbers, right? Right, that we're going to print. So numbers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. Then print this now, and then notice that we are starting from 1 to what? 34. Let me reduce it to 20. It's too long. Now, okay, good. We have from 1 to 20. Now, 19 instead of 20. Now, if you notice that, what really happened here is that the range does not print the last number, right? So what it does is that it starts from 1 and ends what with what 19. So if we want to print complete 20, so we need to increment. Instead of typing 20, we type 21. So when you run this now, you can see we have from 1 to what to 20. Now this is stepped. Now another thing is that if we want to print, let's say we want to print odd numbers, right? Odd numbers. So what are we going to do? We put what we call the step. So this step now, if I put 2 here, what it means is that whenever this man, remember we are counting from 1 to 3, right, to 20. But when we add this step, so that means step 2, it can only print this result whenever it can 2 step ahead. So when it prints, instead of printing 1, it print 1 first, then the rest we're going to print is 1 2 is 2, the step 2 is 3 4, it print 4, it print 6, it print 8, it print 10, it print 12, it print 13. Are you getting me? That's what the step does. Are we together? So these two will print what we call odd number, right? Is it odd or even number? I don't know how they call it. I'm not good at mathematics, so don't judge me. Can that be odd or even number? Is it even number or odd number?
Even.
Okay, even number. So this will print an even number for us. So
Odd
let's,
number.
is it odd?
Odd number.
Odd number.
Like I say, we will need to go back to Otaka when I go there.
It's odd number, odd number.
All right, so good. Let's run this, and then we are having what this will print. What are we having? 0 3. No, right? Okay, it's 21, right? Okay, that's 21. Is it correct?
It's correct.
Yes, it's correct. It's
Okay,
correct.
3.
Odd numbers.
Right. Okay, this print odd numbers. So let's leave it to 20. Then this will print what? Let's clear that. Let's clear this. 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. Got you 2 step, right? 2 step, 2 step. So if you come here and click on 3, move that. You can see we have 3 steps: 4 7 10 13 19 16 and 19. So that's how the range, so range of a part starts and then stop. Now let's get a bit advanced about range. So what we are going to do here, it's very simple. So we are going to try to, you know, try to do something. Now, so we are going to um, create an app that add the range of 1 to what to 200, and then inside that 200 um, it will print an odd number for us, right? It will print an odd number. So who can tell us what is odd number? Who can give a division of odd number? I think we did that in nursery school. Yeah. Who can tell us what is odd number?
Odd number.
Odd numbers
Odd
are
number, a number
numbers
that
that are
can
not
be
divisible by 2. They are not divisible by 2,
Numbers.
sir.
Okay, odd numbers are number that cannot
Be divided by 2
be divided
with,
by two,
with
right?
2 without remainder.
Without
Yes, sir.
remainder. Good and fine. So we are going to see how we cannot divided by two, right? So so remember earlier before now we did what we call modus. I don't know if you remember modus, right? Hmm? Yeah. So when I print this now and say I pass here and say the 10 module of 2, then let's see what's going to happen. So if 10 divided by 2. Are we getting a remainder? Hmm?
No,
No,
sir.
sir. No,
So
sir.
this model means
It's
remainder, right?
given.
Good. This model means remainder. So when 10 goes into 2, there is no remainder. Now if we move into 3, we are going to have what? A remainder of what? Of 1, right? So the remainder of 1. So what I'm going to do, we are going to think deeply how we tend to achieve in this situation where we create uh, a number. I get it. Inside that number, we can what we are going to do is that we create we call a number from 1 to 200, right? So in that 200, we'll check if we only want it to print let's say we only want it to print the even odd even odd number rather, right? It's only print the odd numbers, then it will leave any other number and then randomly print odd numbers. So another thing I also want you to do is that, remember, we mentioned about global variables, right? The global variables. And I told you something. If a variable is inside here, it cannot be printed out, right? You can't print it outside there. Are we communicating?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me,
Yes, sir.
hold on a minute, please. Let me plug my this in.